Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Nice to be back in the Bay Area. As I speak today, some of you, if you don't pick up on it soon, will probably pick up on it later. That several days ago, I was fortunate enough to be diagnosed with a case of Bell's palsy. And if any of you don't know what that is when supposedly they think they don't actually know, which is always comforting when they don't know, isn't it? When a virus attacks the nerves in your face, and it causes a more or less of a paralysis on one side of your face. So this side of my face doesn't work particularly well. My mouth doesn't smile, and my eye doesn't shut, unless I go like this. I tell my wife that actually what happened was my third eye opened. It just opened in the space of my right eye. And, and I can't get it shut. So. But so the doctors say, hopefully within somewhere between 2 weeks and 2 months, it'll all clear up and go away. Unless you're very unfortunate, in which case it won't. So if I look a bit like a lopsided pirate up here staring at you with one eye, you'll all know why. And like many things in life, so our minds would tell us, even though it has no reality to it, that they happen at what we think are rather inconvenient moments. And I noticed that the old mind would make this attempt, not even in thought, but the energy of thought. When you're really listening, you can actually feel a thought trying to arise before it actually turns into a thought. Because thought, after all, is just energy. And the energy would move, and I could feel the old mind doing simply what it thought it should do, which was to interpret the moment, to tell a story. And the energy would arise, and then it was like trying, if you're very sick and you're trying to get out of bed, but you just don't have the energy to, and you just lay back down. And so the energy of the old conditioned mind, I could feel it move, try to have a thought about what was happening, and then just collapse back upon itself. And it would try that about every half hour through the day. I could just feel the energy try to arise. And before it even turned into thought, there just wasn't enough momentum, and it would just fall. And what I noticed was there was no suffering. There was no story at all. It was actually, and it is actually, just the next thing that's happening. There's always the next thing that's happening. Sometimes the next thing is something your mind would say is good and that it wants. And sometimes the next thing is something that the mind may say is not good and you don't want. But either way, none of the thoughts about what's happening have any truth to them, whether they're positive or negative. What's happening is just what's happening. And once again, as we all do throughout our life, we get an endless number of opportunities to see, to experience what is as it is, before and independent of any story about it. And no matter what it is, when it is as it is, it's not a problem. Until the mind talks to itself about any event. It's only through the mind talking to itself about what is happening or what has happened or what may happen that causes this psychological phenomena called suffering or stress. And so I watched as the old mind thought it was just doing its job, like it just should. This is not comfortable. You look goofy. You're going to go do a wedding, and then you're kind of talking like Elmer Fudd, and And the old mind would it just thought it was almost like it just thought it's being dutiful, it's supposed to interpret the moment. But I suppose because I'd seen this, 100,000 times, that the energy just couldn't quite become a thought. And so the suffering in any way couldn't actually begin. It couldn't actually continue. And so it is with all of us. And of course the primary thought is the thought of, the thing that's always going in relationship with each moment is the primary thought. And the primary thought is the thought of me. It's this thought of me, which is nothing but a thought, never was anything but a thought, never could be anything but a thought or an image. But it's this thought called me that's constantly, in most human beings, in relationship with what is. With anything that's happening, the me or the I is constantly commenting on what it is. Is it good? Is it bad? Do I like it? Do I not like it? Do I agree? Do I disagree? Do I want it? Do I not want it? How do I attain that? How do I get rid of that? Right up to, I am enlightened, or I am not yet enlightened. All of them, all these are simply ways that the mind is going into relationship with what is. It's just thought commenting on the moment. The first thought is always me, and then the me talks to itself about its relationship with the moment. So it's like an imaginary character having an imaginary relationship with what is, which is called suffering, or what sages and sagesses have called the dream state. It is actually to be caught in a dream, the dream of consciousness, dreaming a me into existence, and then dreaming a relationship between me and existence. But in the actual instant of what is, without referring to thought, there is no commentary. There is no commentator. And in that perception, you begin to see through your own experience for yourself that there isn't a problem. There can't be a problem unless the mind is believed. Unless the mind goes into relationship, starts to comment on what is, and then creates a problem.